Marcus wiped down the same spot on the counter for the third time that morning, his worn cloth moving in slow, deliberate circles. Through the fogged window of his small coffee shop, the city sprawled endlessly, a maze of glass towers and concrete that seemed to grow taller every year. Miller Street, once a neighborhood of family-owned businesses and friendly faces, had become just another corridor of chain stores and hurried strangers. The bell above the door chimed, and an elderly woman shuffled in, her coat dusted with the first snow of December. Marcus recognized her immediately. Mrs. Chen had been coming to his shop every Tuesday and Thursday for nearly 8 years, always ordering the same thing: black coffee with 2 sugars, no cream. "Good morning, Mrs. Chen," Marcus said, already reaching for a cup. "The usual?" She nodded, settling onto her favorite stool by the window. Her hands trembled slightly as she counted out exact change from a small coin purse. Marcus noticed but said nothing. He had learned that dignity sometimes meant accepting payment, even when you wanted to give things away. As he prepared her coffee, Marcus glanced at the stack of unopened bills beneath the register. The landlord had raised the rent again. The corporate coffee chain across the street had installed heated sidewalks and offered free wireless internet. Every month, fewer customers walked through his door. Every month, the numbers made less sense. "You look troubled," Mrs. Chen said, her voice gentle but observant. Marcus set her coffee down and managed a smile. "Just thinking about the future, Mrs. Chen. The city keeps changing, and I'm not sure there's a place for shops like mine anymore." Mrs. Chen wrapped her fingers around the warm cup, steam rising between them like a curtain. "My husband and I ran a tailor shop 3 blocks from here for 42 years. We made suits for bankers, dresses for weddings, pants for children going to their first day of school. Then the department stores came, selling everything faster and cheaper. We couldn't compete." Marcus leaned against the counter, listening. He had heard pieces of this story before, but never the ending. "One day, I told my husband we should close. The money was gone, our children had moved to other cities, and I was tired. So tired." She paused, taking a slow sip of coffee. He looked at me and said something I've never forgotten. He said, "We don't measure success by how many customers we have. We measure it by the care we put into each stitch, each conversation, each moment we choose to do something well." The bell chimed again. A young man in a business suit rushed in, checking his watch. "Large coffee, black to go." "I'm late for a meeting." Marcus moved to prepare it, but the man was already tapping his foot impatiently. When Marcus handed him the cup, the man thrust a bill forward without making eye contact and hurried out before Marcus could offer change. Mrs. Chen watched the interaction with knowing eyes. That young man will spend his whole life running from meeting to meeting, never arriving anywhere that matters. Marcus collected the abandoned change and placed it in a jar labeled "Pay It Forward" that he kept beneath the register. It was nearly full. He used it to buy coffee for customers who were short on cash, though lately, those customers seemed to be disappearing too. The morning crawled by with only a handful of customers. Marcus cleaned the espresso machine, restocked the pastry case, and rearranged the chairs that didn't need rearranging. The silence felt heavier than usual, broken only by Mrs. Chen's occasional comment about the snow outside. Around noon, a woman Marcus had never seen before entered. She was perhaps 30, with paint stains on her jeans and exhaustion written across her face. She stood at the counter for a long moment, studying the menu board, then quietly asked, "How much is your smallest coffee?" Marcus told her, and he watched her count the coins in her palm twice before shaking her head. "I'm sorry. I thought I had enough. I've been painting a mural downtown all morning, and I miscalculated." "Never mind. Wait," Marcus said. He poured a medium coffee and slid it across the counter. "Someone already paid for this." "It's yours." The woman's eyes widened. "Really? Who?" Marcus glanced at Mrs. Chen, who was suddenly very interested in her coffee cup. He smiled. "Someone who wanted to make sure the next person had what they needed." The woman took the cup with both hands, holding it like something precious. "Thank you, both of you." You have no idea how much this means right now. After she left, Mrs. Chen chuckled softly. You're a terrible liar, Marcus. That came from your pay-it-forward jar, didn't it? It did, he admitted. But the money in that jar came from customers like you, so I wasn't really lying. My husband used to do something similar. He called it sewing invisible threads. He said every act of kindness created a connection between people, and even if they couldn't see it, those threads held communities together. She finished her coffee and stood slowly. The city is changing, Marcus. But some things should never change. This shop is one of them. After Mrs. Chen left, Marcus sat alone with his thoughts. The afternoon light filtered through the window, casting long shadows across the empty tables. He thought about closing early. What was the point of staying open when no one came? The bell chimed. A teenager walked in, headphones around his neck, backpack slung over one shoulder. He approached the counter hesitantly. Can I help you? Marcus asked. The boy glanced around as if making sure they were alone. My mom used to bring me here when I was little, before she got sick. She always ordered me hot chocolate and she'd get coffee, and we'd sit by that window and watch people walk by. He pointed to the spot where Mrs. Chen had been sitting. She died last year. Marcus felt his throat tighten. I'm sorry. I have a job interview tomorrow, my first one. I'm really nervous, and I just thought, I wanted to come here, to feel close to her, I guess. Is that stupid? No, Marcus said firmly. That's not stupid at all. What's your name? David. David, sit by that window. I'll make you the best hot chocolate you've ever had, and we'll figure out this interview together. For the next hour, Marcus sat with David, reviewing interview questions, offering advice, sharing stories of his own nervous beginnings. The boy's anxiety gradually transformed into cautious confidence. When David finally left, he shook Marcus's hand with genuine gratitude. Thank you, sir. Really. I'll come back and tell you how it goes. I'll be here, Marcus promised. But would he? The stack of bills still waited beneath the register. The corporate chain across the street had just installed a new digital menu board that could be seen from 3 blocks away. Marcus's hand-painted sign barely caught the eye anymore. That evening, as Marcus prepared to close, he found an envelope that had been slipped under the door. Inside was a check for $500 and a note written in shaky handwriting, for keeping Miller Street alive. From a grateful neighbor. It was unsigned, but Marcus recognized Mrs. Chen's distinctive capital letters. He sat down heavily, the check trembling in his hands. It wasn't enough to save the shop, not even close. But it was enough to keep the lights on for another month. Enough to be here when David came back with news of his interview. Enough to serve Mrs. Chen her usual coffee next Tuesday. The next morning, Marcus arrived early and did something he hadn't done in years. He repainted the shop's sign himself, making it brighter, bolder. He rearranged the furniture to create a small reading corner with books he brought from home. He printed new menus on recycled paper, adding a section titled Community Specials where locals could leave notes and recommendations. The changes were small, perhaps meaningless in the face of corporate competition and rising rents. But as Mrs. Chen's husband had understood, success wasn't measured in profits alone. It was measured in steam rising from a cup held by grateful hands, in conversations that mattered, in being present for the moments when people needed something more than efficiency. By mid-morning, the painter returned. She brought a friend, and they ordered lunch. David stopped by to report that he'd gotten the job, and he asked if Marcus needed weekend help. Mrs. Chen came early, bringing homemade dumplings to share. Word spread quietly, the way important things often do in cities that seem too busy to notice. Miller Street was still changing. The tower still rose, the chain still expanded, and the old neighborhood continued its slow transformation. But in one small coffee shop, Marcus had learned what his customers had been trying to teach him all along. That meaning isn't found in resisting change or chasing success.